So this is the Rapsodo MLM2PRO, and this is the Garmin R10, two of the most popular launch monitors of the year. And in today's video, we're putting them head to head just to see how accurate they really are. So let's do this. And first up is the Garmin R10, coming in at $599. What the Garmin R10 gives you is carry distance, swing speed, ball spin, smash factor, launch angle, and more. Now this can all be displayed on your mobile device, and you can pair it with either an iOS or Android. And what's really cool is that the Garmin Golf app allows you to play 42,000 virtual courses, which is simply just amazing. And next up is the Rapsodo MLM2PRO, comes in at $699. The Rapsodo MLM2PRO comes with a unit itself, a tripod, a carrying case, a charging cable, and a 1-year premium membership. Now the premium membership is not required to use the MLM2PRO, however it significantly enhances the user experience, which by giving you access to 30,000 simulated golf courses, training platforms, and a whole lot more. Now what's really cool about the Rapsodo MLM2PRO is that it can be used both indoor and outdoors. And what's great is it can also connect to third-party software, including E6 and Awesome Golf. Now the Rapsodo app can also give you a ton of cool features, including cloud storage, slow motion replay, session insights, and a whole lot more. And there's a ton of data points with the Rapsodo MLM2PRO, including ball speed, club speed, smash factor, launch angle, launch direction, carry distance, total distance, and spin data, both spin rate and spin access. And that each Rapsodo MLM2PRO comes with a sleeve of its Callaway Chrome Soft X Rapsodo RPT golf balls that actually have a unique pattern which helps you capture those spin and spin access incredibly accurately. And with all this information, there's no doubt that the Rapsodo MLM2PRO can be used both as a simulator and a launch monitor. So now that we know more about these two amazing launch monitors, we're gonna do a little test. I'm gonna hit 3 clubs, my pitching wedge, my 7-iron, and my driver. And we're gonna see how accurate these really are. So let's do this.
On this first shot with the pitching wedge using the Garmin R10, the carry showed 109 on both the GC3 and the Garmin R10, so it's exactly the same. A ball speed of 87 on the R10, while the ball speed of 88 on the GC3, so only off by 1. And with a spin of 79.02 with the Garmin R10 and a spin of 81.49 with the GC3, so it's off by about 250 on the spin. But all in all, I'm pretty impressed. On the second shot with the pitching wedge, the Garmin R10 showed a carry of 93 yards, while the GC3 showed a carry of 97, so it's off by about 4 yards. With a ball speed of 82 on the R10 and 84 on the GC3, so again, it's off by about 2. And then the spin is showing 77.50 on the R10 with a spin of 8.099, so it's off by about, again, 250 on the spin. So I'm starting to see a pattern here. Spin is off by about 250 each time. On this third and final shot with the pitching wedge, the Garmin R10 showed a carry of 125 yards, while the GC3 also showed a carry of 125 yards, so dead on accurate. The ball speeds were exactly the same at 97, and the RPM was 79.31 on the R10 and 8,000 on the GC3, so only off by about 70. So all in all, the Garmin R10 is pretty accurate when it comes to carry. The only thing I'm really seeing here is the spin might be off by about 250 RPM. Let's go ahead and move on to the 7-iron. On this first shot of the 7-iron, the Garmin R10 showed a carry of 132 yards, while the GC3 showed a carry of 134, so off by about 2 yards. The ball speeds are exactly the same again at 97, and the spin was off. It looks like the spin was 40.65 on the R10 and 41.50, so it's off by about 100. But that's pretty darn accurate if you ask me. On the second shot with the 7-iron, the Garmin R10 showed a carry of 149, while the GC3 showed a carry of 150, so it's off by about a yard. The ball speed of 108 on the R10 and the ball speed on the GC3 of 107, so again, only 1 mile per hour off. And the spin numbers showing 50.81 on the R10 and 50.74. That's only 7 difference. I mean, that's dead on. That's crazy. On this third and final shot with the 7-iron, the R10 was showing a carry of 148, while the GC3 showed a carry of also 148, so exactly the same number. And the ball speeds are exactly the same as well at 109. And the spin was showing 62.60 on the R10 with a 63.75 on the GC3, so it's off by about 100. I mean, that's dead on again. It's just really impressive what the R10 can do. But let's go ahead and move on to the driver. On this first shot of the driver, the Garmin R10 showed a carry of 193, while the GC3 showed a carry of 198. Now, that was a total mishit on my part, but it's really interesting to see that, you know, the GC3 did pick up a different ball speed of 138, while the ball speed in the R10 was 101, so which is kind of weird. That's off by about 30 miles per hour. But the spin number was off 49.62 on the R10 with 50.99 on the GC3, so it's only off by about like 130. So it's really interesting the ball speed didn't quite pick up this miss hit. On the second shot with the R10, the driver showed a carry of 224, while the GC3 showed a carry of 216, so only off by 8 yards. The ball speeds are exactly the same at 143, and the spin is 4160 on the R10 and 4299 on the GC3, so only off by 130. So it amazes me that the spin is pretty close. The carries are a little bit off, but not by much, but the ball speeds are exactly the same. On the third and final shot with the R10, the carry was 221 with the driver, while the GC3 showed a carry of 215, so it's off by about 6 yards. The ball speeds were exactly the same at 142, and the spin was showing 3986 on the R10 with a 4100 on the GC3, so again, only off by like, what, 140? So what I'm seeing here is, you know, the carries could be off by about 5 to 8, which isn't too bad. The ball speeds are almost dead on, except for that first shot. And the spin numbers, I mean, are pretty darn close. That's really impressive that the R10 can pick up, you know, miss hits and any kind of shots to the driver. But let's go ahead and move on to the Rapsodo. On this first shot with the Rapsodo MLM2PRO with a pitching wedge, the carry showed a 119, while the GC3 showed a carry of 118, so only off by 1 yard. The ball speeds were exactly the same at 91, and the spin was 71.97 on the MLM2, and the spin was 72.49 on the GC3, so only off by like 50, and that's just crazy. On the second shot with the MLM2PRO, the carry showed 104 on the pitching wedge, while the GC3 showed the exact same 104, as well as the ball speeds were exactly the same too at 82. And this is what blows my mind. Again, the spin was only off by 50. That's crazy, 50. So 54.44 on the MLM2PRO and 54.99. This thing is dead accurate. On this third and final shot with the MLM2PRO, the pitching wedge showed a carry of 125, while the GC3 also showed a carry of 125. And the crazy thing here is the ball speed were exactly the same again at 94. And the spin was showing 51.61 on the MLM2PRO and 52.75 on the GC3. So again, it's off by about, what is that, like 100? So, I mean, this right here shows me that the Rapsodo is dead accurate again with the pitching wedge in terms of these numbers. But let's go ahead and move on to the 7-iron. On this first shot, the 7-iron, the Rapsodo MLM2PRO showed a carry of 142, while the GC3 showed a carry of 139. So it's off by about 3 yards. The ball speeds were exactly the same at 105. And the spin was showing 64.90 on the Rapsodo and 66.75 on the GC3. So it's off by about, you know, 100, 150, but it's pretty darn close if you ask me. On the second shot, the 7-iron, the carry in the MLM2PRO showed a carry 133, while the GC3 showed a carry 130. So a difference of about 3 yards. The ball speeds were off by 1 yard. The Rapsodo showed 99, while the ball speed on the GC3 was 98 miles per hour. And the spin was showing 54.94 on the MLM2PRO and 55.99 on the GC3. So it's off by about, again, 100. I mean, that's just crazy. On this third and final shot with the MLM2PRO, the 7-iron showed a carry 140, while the GC3 showed a carry 138. So it's off by about 2 yards. Ball speeds again was exactly the same at 103 on the 2 units. And the spin was showing 57.66 on the MLM2PRO and 59.24. So it's about 160 off on the spin between these 2 units. But it blows my mind that what this unit is like a tenth of the price and is showing the same numbers. But let's go ahead and move on to the final drivers here on the MLM2PRO. And on this first shot, the carry showed a 204 on the MLM2PRO, while the GC3 showed a carry of 202. So only off by 2 yards. The ball speeds were almost exactly the same. Ball speeds 135 on the MLM2PRO, 134 on the GC3. And the spin, this is really crazy. The spin is showing 36.69 on the MLM2 and 36.49 on the GC3. So, I mean, 20 RPMs off. I mean, and even on a miss hit, it's almost showing the exact same numbers. On the second shot with the driver, I didn't hit quite right, and the carry was 189 on the Rapsodo MLM2PRO and 191 on the GC3. So this is a complete miss hit. And, you know, we're talking about a difference of 2 yards. The ball speed was off by about 1 from each other. You know, 132 on the MLM2PRO and 131 on the GC3. And the funny thing again is the spin is like showing 1971 on the MLM2PRO and 1949 on the GC3. So like 20 on the spin. I mean, this thing is like dead on, even on a miss hit. On this third and final shot of the driver, The carry showed 235 on the MLM2PRO and 238. I mean, it's only off by 3 yards. That's crazy. The ball speed were exactly the same at 144, and the spin numbers are only off by 8 in RPM. That's mind-numbing to me. I just can't believe that's that close. I mean, so to recap, I really believe the Garmin R10 and the Rapsodo MLM2PRO are probably the 2 best launch monitors out right now. You can't beat the price. The R10 comes in at $599. The Rapsodo comes in at $699. As you saw, the numbers are pretty close to what the GC3 is showing. That's at $6,000. I think in terms of spin numbers, definitely the Rapsodo MLM2PRO takes it. But in terms of carry and ball speed, they look about the same, which is a good thing. Both very accurate units. So I think as a user, you have to kind of figure out like what's important to you. Do you want to pay for a subscription? Do you want to have third-party integration? And really kind of bring in like what features are most important to you as a player, and whether or not you use those features in either of these units.
So big thanks to our friends at Indoor Golf Design for letting us use an amazing professional indoor golf simulator. To be honest, I love the Garmin R10 and the Rapsodo MLM2PRO. They are by far the 2 best budget-friendly launch monitors this golf season. I would highly recommend to any of you guys that are looking for an affordable launch monitor that you use in both as a launch monitor and a golf simulator. Now, I got mine from our good friends at playbetter.com. They're huge supporters of our show and our community, so there's links down below to check out both of these units. But if you want to see what we thought of the Mevo Plus, the biggest competitor to both of these 2 units, then check out this video right here when we put it to the test. And I'll see you in the next video.